Hello, everybody. I'm so pleased to see you all again this week. I hope your week has been a good one and that you remain healthy and safe. I'm just overwhelmed. I have had some really lovely contacts from people who have been enjoying this weekly story. One person, a grandmother called Helen, wrote to me, and she said that she's really enjoying sitting with her grandchildren, listening to this story. So thank you, Helen, if you're watching. It's very kind of you. Today's story is about a little boy called Benjamin. And Benjamin had a grandmother, and he was very fond of his grandmother. So the story is about Benjamin. So if any of you out there are called Benjamin, then perhaps this is about you, but it's about everybody as well. So sit comfortably and enjoy the story. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Benjamin, and he loved to go and stay with his grandfather, who lived near a lovely wood. So Benjamin used to enjoy packing up his things and being taken to stay just for a few days with his grandfather. On one occasion, they went to visit the little wood by the house. And it was the time of year, just like this time of year, where there were lots and lots of snowdrops. Have you seen snowdrops? They've got a white, beautiful bell at the top, and they look magnificent in a clump. And in the wood, there was a clump, many of these beautiful snowdrops. They were a delight to see. When Benjamin saw them, he ran up to them and went as though he was going to pick one. And his grandfather said, "Hey, Benjamin, just hang on there. I don't think you ought to pick one." "Oh, Grandpa," he said, "I wanted to give you one." And the grandpa said, "Well, if you take one, it means that the flower will die. And because there is a bulb underneath in the ground that comes up every year with this wonderful flower, if you take one flower, it means that the bulb will die." Benjamin looked sad. He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that." And his grandfather said, "Yes, unfortunately, lots of children don't know that, and they pick the wild flowers. And sometimes their mummies and daddies say it's okay to pick a flower, but they don't realize that if one person picks a flower, and then the next person coming along picks the flower, before we know where we are, there are no flowers left." So on that little day, Benjamin learned a lesson from his grandfather. And then they went home, and they used to love sitting by the fire and having a hot chocolate. Hot chocolate was one of Benjamin's favorite drinks. Is it yours? Do you like hot chocolate? Or perhaps you have another drink too. Anyway, they were sitting down, and Benjamin noticed that his grandfather had got out a book. And it was like this. It was a similar book to this. And Benjamin said, "Grandpa, what are you doing with that book?" And he said, "Well, Benjamin, this is my journal. It's a special type of book. And when I do wonderful things with people, or I have thoughts, or I have ideas, I write them down in a book. Do you notice something about the writing, Benjamin?" And Benjamin had a look, and he said, "Well, I can't read all the words," he said, "but what I notice is that you've written with a pencil." And his grandfather said, "Yes, because I love writing with a pencil." And he showed Benjamin the pencil. Here it is, the lovely pencil that he had. It was full of colors. Benjamin's grandpa loved colorful things. And the grandpa said, "Yes," he said, "it's really interesting about a pencil. It's a bit like you, Benjamin." And Benjamin thought, "A bit like me? What do you mean, Grandpa?" "Well," he said, "pencils have certain qualities. And if you have these qualities, then you're going to do quite well in life and you will live a happy life." Benjamin said, "Grandpa, what are these qualities? Can you tell me?" And his grandpa said, "Yes," he said. "The first," he said, "is, do you notice that somebody has to hold the pencil? I'm holding the pencil. And that person has to then make marks on the page, like I do in my journal. But it's important to think, who's guiding this hand? Who's guiding it?" And I hope, Benjamin, that it's your wise you who guides the pencil. That wise self, that little boy who really understands how to behave, how to think, how to speak to people, how to be kind to creatures, how to look after the wildlife, how to be interested in everything at school and work really hard. So that good part of you should be guiding the pencil. And Benjamin thought, I'm not always like that, but I will try, he said to his grandpa. The grandpa said, yes, he said. And do you know, Benjamin, I have something to help me too, and it's this. It's a pencil sharpener. I don't know if you children at home have a pencil sharpener like this. And Grandpa said, yes, he said, every now and again I have to put my pencil first in the big hole and I turn it round. And then secondly, I put it in the smaller hole just to sharpen the pencil a little bit more so it's really sharp. But Grandpa said, what happens is that you take a little bit off the pencil. And it's, in a sense, it's a bit painful for the pencil. And it's just like us. Sometimes we have experience in life. We do things that cause us a little bit of hurt. But it's necessary to understand why we do these things and then to work not to do them so that we make ourselves a bit sharper, a little bit brighter, a little bit more wise with our work and our writing. So Benjamin said, well, that's very interesting, Grandpa. Is there anything else? Yes, said Grandpa, there's a third quality you need to develop. On my pencil, I have this. It's called an eraser, or some people call them rubbers, and it sits on the end of my pencil. It's really important because when I'm writing in my journal, I sometimes make mistakes, or I think of a better word to write, or I think of something that I'd rather say. So I get my eraser and I rub out what I've written, and that allows me to write again what I want to write. Now, in your life, Benjamin, this means that you might make mistakes, but you can always put things right. You can say sorry if you've upset somebody, or you can think wise thoughts to make sure that you always do things. But remember, you can always put it right. So always remember that. So that's the importance of my rubber. And I usually keep it on the end of my pencil. Now, the next quality, he said, is that inside the pencil is a lead. The lead is made of something called graphite. So the important bit of a pencil isn't the wood that surrounds the pencil. It's this that runs right the way through, as you know. It's the graphite. So that is important. And Grandpa said to Benjamin, and that's the same with you, it's what's inside you that's really important, not what we see, what clothes you wear, or how you look in life, or how smart your hair is. It's the more important is what's inside you. What are those qualities? What are those values that help you live your life well? So the lead reminds you of those inner qualities in yourself. And Benjamin, there's one last feature, and that is when I take my pencil and I write in my journal, I make marks. I make marks on the pages that I can see and other people can see. And it's similar to your life. Everything you do, Benjamin, everything you do makes a mark on the world. It makes a mark on other people. People say, well, Benjamin, you're a good boy, aren't you? Or they may say other things. So whatever you're doing in life, how you're talking with people, how you're playing with others, in a sense, that's making a mark on the world, and other people notice. So you see, Benjamin, this little simple pencil that looks just so ordinary can remind you of how we should live our lives inside. And Benjamin said, Grandpa, he said, I really get that now. I've often listened to you talking and not really understood what you've been saying, but thinking about the pencil, may I have a pencil like yours, he said, so that when I look at it, I can remember those 5 qualities that I need to develop. His grandpa said, of course, I've got one upstairs in my room. I'll give it to you. And from that day on, Benjamin remembered what his granddad had said. And from that day on, he lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed that story. Your name may not be Benjamin, but the story fits you and me and all the grown-ups exactly the same. So remember, next time you use a pencil, to think about the qualities that you need to develop in your life so you can live a happy and fulfilled life. I hope you enjoyed that story as much as I enjoyed telling it. It's a great story. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. So in the meantime, have a great week. Bye-bye.